We took everything we learned and built this new daily go-to video. Whether you're stiff, sore, or just want better control, this hits the essentials without wasting time. Let's get into it. We're going to start off with full body vibrations. Now, the focus will be on the shoulders. And so what I'd like for you to do is stand with your feet shoulder width apart, bend your knees slightly. You're going to pull your shoulders up and let them relax, and then continue with that. So we're going to be doing this one for about 20 to 30 seconds. Yeah, it's going to feel a little weird. It's even going to look a little weird. But the key here is to make sure that you're just pulling the shoulders up and letting them drop naturally. Now, this might look a little weird, I get that, but full body shaking or vibrating is one of the quickest ways to get your nervous system online. Now, it's a way to tell your body, hey, we're about to move. So don't, think that this really needs to be fancy here. Just bounce a little like I'm doing, shake things out, and you're waking up your proprioception, the sensors in your muscles and joints that help you to move with control. Now, the A-frame and the bear are staples of elements. We're first going to start off with the A-frame. So I'd like for you to place your hands shoulder width apart, knees, toes also shoulder width apart, and all you're going to do is push your butt up into the air. I'd like for you to hold this for about 15 to 20 seconds, kind of waking things up. And the key point here is to really, really focus on driving your hips up into the air. Don't think it has to look a certain way. Just do something that's going to feel good for you. All right, so now we're going to put this into motion. So right hand forward, left foot forward, left hand forward, right foot. And you're just going to continue going forward and then backward. And I suggest doing this for anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute. So first off, the A-frame here is going to help you to get comfortable supporting your body weight through your arms and your shoulders. Now, this is something that most of us haven't done since we were kids, right? But the transition from the A-frame to the bear here helps transfer that shoulder stability into actual movement. Now, you're not just stretching. The thing is that you're training coordination here along with balance and load tolerance. And that's really where the magic happens. So now we're going to take a look at shoulder circles. I would like for you to place your hands on the floor about shoulder width apart. And what's going to help with this is if you take your elbow pits and you rotate your arms so that they're facing forward. Now from here, all I'm going to ask you to do are draw circles with your shoulders while trying to keep your arms straight. And so a way to think about this is pushing down and away, pulling the shoulders up, pulling the shoulders back, and then pushing into the floor. So once again, pulling the shoulders forward and back as you're letting yourself drop closer to the floor and away from the floor. So I suggest doing these about 5 in one direction, and then 5 in the opposite direction. And you can do anywhere from 2 to 3 sets. All right, so this movement builds coordination and control in the shoulder blades, and I absolutely love it. It feels so good. It's really essential for strong, pain-free movement in a way that static stretching just doesn't hit. Now, most people only think about shoulder range in terms of being like big external motions, but this is where the fine motor control really starts, like deep in that joint and how your shoulder blades move on your back. And that's what keeps your shoulders happy when you're doing more demanding stuff later. For this mobility drill, I'm going to ask you to lie down on the floor, but I am going to show you a variation where you can do it elevated. Now, in this position, bring, in this case, my left arm in front of me just for support. I take my right arm with my fingers facing away, and I'm going to pull my elbow up into the air. Now from here, I'm going to rock towards my hand, dropping my chest as much as I can to the floor. I'm going to perform 5 pulses. You'll really feel this in the chest as well as in the shoulder when you are doing this. Going to that end range here, I'm now going to hold 15 to 20 seconds. Feel free to place your head, forehead on the ground when you're doing this. I'm not doing that obviously because I'm talking right now. We'll go ahead and switch sides, bringing the opposite hand in for support, pulling my left hand off to the side, Feel free to place your hand either further or closer, depending on what you need. Elbow comes up into the air, dropping my chest towards the floor and pulsing towards my hand here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Making sure the elbow is facing up into the air, holding this about 15 to 20 seconds. So this contract, relax pattern is going to target the shoulder extension and internal rotation. And that teaches your nervous system that it's safe to move deeper. Now, this is going to carry over into stuff like push-ups, crawling, and even just reaching back behind you. Now, it is relatively simple, but it might take a little bit to get the feel for it in the beginning. However, it hits a layer of the shoulder that a lot of people skip, and that's why we include it here. And it's a seated clasped hands extension. Now, typically, you'll want to do this with your fingers clasped like this. Now, I do know that this is tough for a lot of people, this guy especially, so I actually prefer to use a towel or even a belt. In this case, all I'm doing is grabbing a hold in the back like this, and from this position, I'll keep my chest tall, roll the shoulders back and down, and then focus on pulling my arms upward. I'm going to perform this for 5 pulses, and then I'm going to hold this in range position. Now, you might want to bend over when you do this, but instead of doing that, keep your chest pulled up, shoulders pulled back and down. You can perform up to 3 rounds of this, 5 pulses, and then hold anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. Now, the key here is to focus on control and not cranking your arms upwards. Now, this is a tough one, and obviously you can see here I'm kind of having some trouble, but the key is to stay tall, don't collapse forward. Now, this move is going to hit a part of the shoulder health that most people overlook, and that is extension. Now, that's the ability to bring your arms back behind your body. It's essential for things like dips, bridges, crawling, and even just reaching behind to get something out of your back pocket. Now, most of us lose this range of motion because we don't use it. So that's why we've included this movement here. It's really important, so do it. Now, for the 3-point bridge, I'm going to ask you to sit on the floor. I just like for you to get into a comfortable position, but one of the key points here is to make sure that your fingers are facing away from you. It's going to help with externally rotating the shoulder and just basically make things more comfortable for you. So start off with feet about shoulder width apart. This hand is going to be neutral in the very beginning. And so just focus on pulling the shoulder back and push down into the floor as you raise your hips. If you can only go this far up into the air, totally cool. But if you do have that range of motion, I'd like for you to focus on further driving your hand into the floor to open things up, raising the hips, and you can even extend the arm up over your head. Now hold that about 5 to 10 seconds, and then you'll switch, going side to side. Fingers facing that way, feet about shoulder width apart, externally rotating the shoulder, driving the hips up as high as you can. Feel free to extend the arm, hold for a little bit, about 10 seconds, and then we're just going to continue switching. Now, the 3-point bridge here, it's one of those movements that checks a lot of boxes at once. It's a really great movement because you're building shoulder extension, rotation, stability, but also integrating your hip, spine, and your core at the same time. Now, this is great because you're loading your shoulder through a wide range while rotating and supporting your body weight. And that means that your shoulder isn't just getting more flexible, it's actually learning to be strong and coordinated in the positions you actually use in real life, like reaching behind you for something on your car seat. All right, so this is a lounge chair, and all I'm going to ask you to do is place both of your hands behind you so that your fingers are facing in the opposite direction. Now, in the beginning, just start in a comfortable position. We'd like for you to pull your chest up and pull your shoulders back. So imagine pulling your elbows together, and you're going to pulse into this position about 5 times, 3, 4, 5, and I want you to hold this in range anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds, whatever's going to feel good for you today. So we're going to hang out here just a little bit, and one way that you can modify this in order to go deeper with it is before you do the next pulses, pull your butt a little closer to your heels. Now, same thing, pulsing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, I have a slight bend in my elbows. I'm pulling the chest up, shoulders back and down while actively pulling the elbows towards each other. 10 to 30 seconds. Repeat this up to 2 to 3 times. The lounge chair stretch here, it's great. And the reason why it targets shoulder extension and postural muscles in a way that's super accessible. You're using your own body weight and your breath in order to open up the front of the shoulders while reinforcing good positioning. So that combo between opening and activating, it's what's really going to translate into better posture, more efficient pressing mechanics and less shoulder crankiness in daily life. Now, if you've got a bar or rings, then I really suggest adding in this final movement. It's from our Integral Strength program and it's fabulous. It's called the pulling prep. And all you're gonna do is grab a hold of your bar or rings and while keeping your arms straight, start in a passive hang, and then you're going to pull yourself up while keeping your arms straight. This active and passive motion really helps with the shoulders. I suggest doing this about 5 times and then holding at that top range for about 10 seconds. Then holding at the bottom range for about 10 seconds and then continue with the movement. Now, one thing I will say with this is feel free to keep your feet on the ground when you're doing it. That's not a problem. Then you can gradually work up to being able to do this with your feet hanging free. So obviously this one is also going to build grip strength, shoulder stability, and it also decompresses the whole upper body. Now, when you pull your shoulders down without bending the elbows, you're waking up the lats, lower traps, and the deep stabilizers that often get ignored. Now this builds real strength, integrity around the shoulder joint, not just flexibility. So it's the difference between being able to reach overhead and being able to support yourself overhead, which matters when you're climbing, hanging, pressing, or just reaching up into a cabinet without the sketchy pinching of the shoulder. And that's your new shoulder routine. Quick, focused, and built to actually make a difference. So you have more freedom to do the stuff you actually care about without aches, pains, or second guessing your movement. Now, if that felt good and you want more of it throughout your entire body, well, be sure to check out this next video.